For those of you who are new to the series, Invincible is an adult animated superhero series made by Amazon Prime that revolves around 17-year-old Mark Grayson, who's just like every other guy on Earth. Except for one thing. His father is Omni-Man and the strongest superhero on Earth. However, as Mark's powers begin to grow, he slowly discovers that his father's intentions aren't truly what they're meant to be. Then after an earth-shattering betrayal, Mark fights to rebuild his life, meeting new allies and battling the internal conflict of possibly becoming like his father. So suit up and let's get started into the most intense season of the Amazon Prime Emmy Award-winning animated series, Invincible. But first, make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload. Episode 1 opens with Mark fighting a Cyclops, which seems to be some type of GDA training.
All right, let's give the kid a break. He's been a champ. He's only 8 after all.
As we see him completing tasks for Cecil just in case more Viltrumites show up to conquer Earth now that he's the only hope.
So that was the heaviest thing we could find for Mark to lift, and he just lifted it.
Which by Donald's data seems to be working incredibly well. I mean, just listen to these numbers.
Over the last 90 days, Mark's speed has increased 65%, his endurance 70%, and his strength, and we checked this wasn't a mistake, 138%.
Did he beat that Viltrumite woman who made us all shit our pants 3 months ago?
I mean, it sounds like he's going to be doing a much better job against them than Nolan did until Donald hits us with.
We think so, but she implied someone much worse was coming.
Now this is the first part of the season that truly got me worked up. I totally forgot last season the Viltrumites that captured Nolan told Mark,
"You will return to Earth. You can kill a few humans to convince them to capitulate.
and if he didn't,
We will kill millions."
then Rex comes in being Rex.
How much did all this cost, Cecil? Is this why the coffee maker's still broken at Guardians HQ?
We bought you a new hand, Rex.
And this is the 3rd time I've been back trying to get it adjusted? Look, I'm trying to give you the finger right now, and I can't.
As Nicolas Cage is up to his antics yet again.
Sir, believe it or not, but somebody appears to be stealing the Declaration of Independence.
One guess who's behind that.
Mark ends up taking Rex with him along on the mission, and just as they're about to complete it, Multi-Kate's brother, Multi-Paul, comes up and starts beating the shit out of Rex in order to get revenge on Kate's death.
I did it! Fucking kill Kate!
This is where we see our first glimpses of Mark's Viltrumite genes coming out as him and Rex are getting jumped by like 20 multi-balls.
Shit.
Jesus Christ. That was the last thing I was expecting.
Holy shit.
Scratch what I just said. This was the last thing I was expecting. Kate's alive?
You guys can see her too, right?
I am completely on Rex's side with all of this. It's exactly how I would react if I just got the shit pummeled out of me by like 30 clones. Look at his face. Like, I believe some sort of apologies are in line.
I've killed people for less.
Okay, maybe not from him, but at least Kate and the Immortal. Like, what the actual shit?
Just go, before you make this worse.
What's worse than this?
However, this does give us insights into how Mark is truly trying to control his Viltrumite rage and not kill people.
Paul almost killed Rex. I don't care if he's your brother. He's going to prison now.
Not only did we see the remorse in his face before he had to save Rex, but he also wants to do the proper thing and hand over Multi-Paul to the DEA. Arriving back home, we see Oliver somehow grew to be like 10 years old already. Fucking bug genetics. Showing some brotherly love, having a game of catch, Mark tells him about the mission that just went down.
The real bad guys got away.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Getting hyped about wanting to become a real hero, Oliver asks Mark if he can teach him how to train and fight bad guys, and Mark agrees underneath one condition.
Once you get your powers.
Promise.
I promise. But remember, I didn't get my powers until I was way older than you.
This little bastard, he just hustled Mark like Uncle Phil in that one pool hall episode of Fresh Prince. Arriving back to HQ, everybody's hyped to see Kate, but not the Immortal, which isn't too surprising.
Using metals I mined from...
Yeah, let me see.
But not just them. There's one more to add to the mix.
Hey, Rex.
Ray?
Now the Guardians are back at full squad and ready to take on whatever comes their way. Traveling all the way back to DC to check on the DEA, Donald is telling Cecil about all of these like weird events that are happening around the globe, and Cecil is just being such a schmuck about it.
The residents of this town reported that their groundwater has recently become sulfurous and undrinkable.
We're not the EPA, Donald.
But we've categorized over 300 unusual geological events, sir.
So the country's got measles.
Learning that Oliver has his powers, Cecil completely changes his attitude. He seems to be more like frightened and worried about this. Honestly, just truly frightened. I mean, just look at his face change and the way that he's talking to Donald afterwards.
This, Donald, you should have led with this.
Like, yeah, maybe he should have told you about that first, but I personally think that 50 geological anomalies happening around the United States major cities is of major concern. Being the third wheel to William and Rick's date just being a complete buzzkill.
So, Mark, we've been here 2 hours and you still haven't brought it up.
This part's honestly pretty boring. They're just talking about when Mark met Future Eve, if he should tell Present Eve about Future Eve. And Rick and William are kind of just like, no, don't fucking do that, you idiot. Why would you do that? And Mark's just like, yeah, I guess you're right, but I don't know. I feel like I should still tell him. I don't know how I feel about this. On one hand, if you're going to be in a relationship, you should be completely transparent and open about things with your partner. But at the same time, asking a girl out because a future version of her told you to do it is kind of fucked up. So I see why it would be a problem for Eve. After having to carry William's car home,
Oh, do a loop!
Mark decides to go try to talk to Eve at her treehouse.
Are you gonna hover out there all day talking to yourself or come in?
Jeez, so straightforward, Eve. Back at the Graysons, Debbie is covering Oliver up in makeup so that way he can go out into the real world and play. And I gotta say, Debbie's pretty smart for all of this quick thinking about the secret identity in order to get Oliver to stay with the makeup idea.
You want to be a superhero, right? And you know that many superheroes have secret identities. This is your secret identity.
Before being interrupted by Cecil, of course.
Think you missed a spot there, kiddo.
Eve and Mark are catching up talking, asking Eve about school and family and all that before asking the million-dollar question.
Why are you really here, Mark?
Before botching the entire thing.
I want to see if we could work together, like as people, not work.
Are you asking me out?
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the whiplash that you all might get from this, because this scene is a lot of back and forth. At the Graysons, Debbie and Cecil are having a little back and forth tit for tat about Oliver getting his powers.
I only found out yesterday.
I would have appreciated a call.
I don't work for you.
That's right, Debbie, you stand up to him. Fuck Cecil and his "this is bigger than us, it's the fate of the planet and humanity" type bullshit. Sure, the fate of the planet rests on the hero, but he's literally just a child. I can't wait until we find out more about Cecil's background. Between the end of last season and the beginning of this one, it's kind of hard to figure out what his true motivations are. Between the dialogue and the side-eye, you can just tell he's not being transparent with Debbie, which is super fucked up because he wants her to tell him everything. So, remember when Donald was trying to warn Cecil about all the random geological events that were happening around the country? Well, it's happening all over the place now.
Most heroes carry a GDA tracker. Throw them up on the screen.
And the Guardians are nowhere to be found. Catching back up to Cecil and Debbie's conversation, Debbie just hits him with the biggest truth dagger in the world.
The only reason I even let April in here is because I trust her.
Ouch.
Before learning that every superhero has gone missing and been abducted except for 2. Can you guess which ones those are? That's right, Eve and Mark, because he's out there trying to get the nookie, which seemed like it worked.
Okay,
Okay.
sure. Let's try.
Before completely fucking it all up.
Great. Oh man, I just didn't want to leave you hanging anymore.
What?
Mark, you literally had one job. One job.
Did you have feelings for me before you met her?
Eve, I mean, of course.
Or are you only here because you feel sorry for me?
Oh, God, no.
Getting the call from Cecil, we have to cut this terrible job of trying to bag Eve short and go see what Cecil wants.
This better be fucking cataclysmic.
Oh, it is! You got Doc Seismic with a bunch of underground creatures coming up, putting all the heroes in web sacks and just destroying the nation. So I'd say it's pretty fucking cataclysmic, Eve. Tunneling through the ground thanks to Robot diverting all of his power into a GPS, they get roasted immediately by Doc Seismic.
It's my old friends, token diversity and gender stereotype.
I hate Doc Seismic as a villain, but this plan is pretty well thought out. I mean, he learned all the heroes' movements, became friends with a bunch of underground creatures, and kidnapped all the heroes, all by just tapping the ground in prison. GDA headquarters is freaking out.
How does a nobody like Doc Seismic pull shit like this?
Mark and Eve are the only surviving heroes according to Donald, which forces Cecil to use
Drop pods 1 through 3.
out of something called the Dark Room. Oliver is getting scorned because he tried sneaking out in order to go help the GDA since all of the heroes were abducted.
Why didn't you talk to me first?
I don't know.
Because you knew I'd say no? Maybe that's a clue that you shouldn't be trying to sneak out.
Before giving him hope by saying Invincible will start training him since he always listens to his mom. These creatures that were forged in the fire of the earth are giving Eve and Mark a run for their money. They have giant centipedes attacking them, giant spiders pooping webs on them, lava men trying to get them. This is one of the most intense fight scenes throughout the entire series so far, other than Season 2's battle with the Viltrumites. Waking up from the venom inside of the egg sacs, Mark is trying to wake up Eve without any luck. Getting a quick flash of Cecil at the GDA, nodding his head in approval at Donald in order to send the drop pods 1 through 3 to help out the heroes. But before so, we get a little bit of a surprise from an old villain. Darkwing. And not the duck.
I don't think so.
Well, I sure wasn't expecting any of this.
What the fuck?
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Nightmare fuel for sure. At least they're helping, right? Just as Doc Seismic is about to give the final blast, Mark starts flying at him before Darkwing comes up and steals him into the Shadowverse, saving the day. Bringing Doc back out of the Shadowverse, leaving the Guardians, especially Mark, just as confused as me. And he has every right to be acting this way. He is spitting straight facts.
Why the hell is he here? And why the fuck are those things here? He's a murderer. And those things, the guy who made those things, killed people. They almost killed my best friend.
Darkwing and Sinclair should both be behind bars, but of course, leave it to the US government to take villains and use them for special projects. And they knew it would set him off, man. Fuck Cecil and fuck the GDA. As soon as he flies away, look at Darkwing signaling Cecil and the GDA that Mark's on his way.
He's coming.
Cecil is trying his hardest not to make this seem like a big deal.
Sinclair's new reanimen are made with donated corpses. Darkwing will never kill again. They both went through severe psychological reprogramming.
That is bullshit, and you know it.
Even bringing up the fact that Mark killed Langstrom last season to try to turn the tables on him.
Is it? You killed Angstrom Levy? Should I lock you up
As
too?
they have this intense conversation, Mark gets more irate at Cecil while he's trying to explain the GDA's actions.
You were trying to save lives, which is what I'm trying to do, so how about you extend me the same privilege and go home?
No way.
Until they reach this all-white room.
Go home, Mark, before you do something you'll regret.
I told you, I'm not leaving.
Please go.
Leaving us on one of the biggest cliffhangers I've ever seen happening within a TV show.
The White Room is for my protection. From you, Mark. From you.
Ending the episode on Alan the alien and Nolan sharing a prison cell.
Like I've said 100 times before, I am not leaving here without you.
And I'm never leaving. So go, before they laser you open to figure out how you're so strong.
You are not getting rid of me that easy. Besides, like you said, I am incredibly ripped now, so it would take a pretty big laser.
To Nolan and our shock, Alan survives the laser.
You're alive?
Wait. Were you worried I was gonna die?
I actually love this ending credit scene because it shows that Nolan actually is different than other Viltrumites and cares about species other than his own race. Even in getting embarrassed by Alan when he brings it up.
Do you care about me? I feel like you're halfway to joining the cause. Hello, Nolan? Hello? Oh, I get it. You're ignoring me.
That's gonna do it for this action-packed, suspense-filled Season 3 premiere of the show Invincible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, along with any other twists and turns we might see throughout this season. Don't forget to subscribe with the bell. New uploads will be coming regularly. And until next time, I love you guys, and I'll see you later. A new year, new goals, and a new movie review to jump into. The Ringer is definitely one of those early